Hello there, Internet. Hello there, YouTube, and welcome back to the Hunt Gamers continued streams of X-Men Legends 2, in which we are doing various solo hardcore runs with different characters and different builds, trying to complete them all. Currently, we are working on the Scarlet Witch, who is, I won't argue, in fact, it's just fact, she is the worst character to solo the game with. I think that's demonstrated pretty empirically by the fact that it took us 2 hours. It took us about almost 4 hours to complete Act 1. It took us, like an hour and a half to get to the first Act boss in Act 1. It was genuinely sanity bruising. Anyway, we're going to go in. We're on the Infinite Factory. Things have picked up since then. We do have a bit more damage, but things are going to start hitting the wall. Anyway, we'll get in there and take a look, and you can see what our problems are.
Let the games begin.
So for anyone who hasn't been following along, Scarlet Witch's primary issue is simply that her animations suck. She technically has the range advantage. She even has kind of acceptable single target damage on an ability called Reality Shift. It hits really hard. I mean, I don't think, if it's going to hit one person, it pretty much needs to consistently one-shot one person. And it kind of does. It's pretty good. But as you can see, very slow casting animation and very slow projectile. And that slow projectile just means that at long range, it tends to miss, and at short range, the long cast time means you can't really kite with it. So it's kind of in this really just difficult to use position. And it does have some little gimmicks, like it can go through these guys' combo shields, but as you can see, actually chipping them down with it all the way is not particularly viable. What it does have is a 10% chance to turn people into boxers, which is, it's alright. The boxers drop potions or tech bits, so, it's not the worst. Technically, it kind of synergizes with another of Scarlet Witch's abilities, which allows you to detonate boxes, but it's not consistent enough to really make a build around both of them. But as you can see, the damage is very good. Like, we are just one-shotting stuff. And as long as we can do that, at least on these enemies who are kind of streaming at us one at a time, we're okay. We actually play this easier than some other characters that I would consider stronger.
Wait, I'm on your side. My name is Robert McKenzie.
McKenzie! Special agent! Oui!
Everyone needs help. I came here to see Trébon.
Trébon! Something else worth bearing in mind as well, so when I say this character is the worst and then you suddenly see me doing really well, not doing really well, but at least doing okay for damage, is we have absolutely, crazily goated equipment. We have had genuine best in slot drops. So we're absolutely rolling in damage that you would not typically be seeing on Scarlet Witch. So even, as I say, that thing typically one-shotting, even the one-shot breakpoint on that is not necessarily guaranteed at this point unless we use our damage buff, which we do have. So we do have Amplified Luck, which, it's a buff. It buffs our damage and it buffs our crit chance. So increase our base damage and then a chance to double it. So it's a nice multiplicative effect. But unfortunately, the numbers are kind of sensibly scaled around the strength of that effect. So you're not getting 100% enhanced damage and 50% extra crit chance. At the moment, it's not even 10%. But that's still it's still a meaningful buff. We usually only need it for bosses. But it can certainly help you with your melee attacks if you have good equipment and you just want to save some energy. It might make more sense to cast that once and melee a couple of enemies if they're not too dangerous. But I don't think that's the way. I don't mind using a lot of energy. We can buy energy at this point. if we have to, and we have been doing that a lot. And it does mean that we've been struggling to get money for some things like bonus skill points and level ups and so on, and even like buying nice equipment when it does show up in the stores. We've been a little bit impoverished in that respect, but it's better than being dead. But yeah, one of my initial plans when I started doing this character was like I really don't know that we can finish this game, because you know when we get to like Act 5 and there's just going to be like 3 or 4 elite very high damage melee enemies, all of whom can like chain CC. There's going to be elites with them. There's going to be auras. There's going to be like they're just going to run us over. And similarly, like when we come across packs of like very high damage range elites, we might be able to like bait them around a corner. The way we're going to have to progress is like every time we see something like that, we're going to have to like ult, and then we're going to have to go back and farm more ult tokens, and that's kind of how we're going to have to cheese our way through. But one of the things that I was thinking was, maybe lean into some melee ability, because Scarlet Witch, if you get good items, does have a little bit of melee potential. And honestly, the damage is probably better than, quite a lot of her skills aside from this. But even then, the single target damage, when you factor in the cast time of that ability. But either way, one of the reasons why I kind of abandoned that idea was because I was like, oh well, there's just no guarantee that I will get good items. And while you can technically target farm for items in this game, it is a very laborious process, and I wouldn't want to I wouldn't want completion to be contingent on doing it on stream, because it's the kind of thing where you could literally just spend hours, farming a boss arena and not find the thing you want. And you could also do it for 10 minutes and get it. So, but the more likely reality is you're going to have to grind it out for a good long while. But yeah, we can kind of just have like a little rate. The problem is these guys, they juke around, and as you can see, unless you kind of get them stacked along a wall or something. And honestly, it's probably easier to just put the aura up and go punch them to death. Oh, that's good. Pretty right away. We do have this combustion, which is decent, but the damage is a little bit low if you're not hitting multiple enemies at once. So yeah, I think against these range guys, but I'm not worried that they can kill us. I'll probably just run them over in melee, which is, it's just something we can do because we have good equipment. We're super lucky in that respect. And unfortunately, rare is a little bit disappointing compared to what we have. But that's, the downside of having really good loot.
Enjoy your nap.
And you can see how, just devastating having giant auto targeting is for an ability like this.
Sorry about that.
I mean, the nice thing about that being a projectile is you can kind of use it like indirect fire if you know there's something nasty. You can kind of spam it out if you're on a favorable map like this where you have a lot of narrow corridors and so on to spam down. So it does have its minor upsides.
It was quite enjoyable.
Oh, another rare. Really nice. love to see it.
There should be.
I do quite like the soundtrack in the Infinite Factory. This little like production line, industrial, clinking, clanking. I don't know. I think sometimes I underrate the music in this game because I do like the music in the next act so much. Not the next act, but the next area, because I like that one so much. I tend to kind of
I believe you
undersell the others. Another rare. Always happy to see it. Now we have to go back through that.
Well,
I believe I've kind of skipped the little ice room here. I'm not sure how I ended up skipping that, but we should be able to. Hold on. So I have skipped an area, but it's probably faster to get there by just taking the teleporter back. Oh, that's a little bit annoying. It takes us all the way back here. The walking simulator, even after 20 years, I still am not like properly efficient in doing the maps on this. Hold on. Yeah, that's the area. Probably nothing down here that I actually want anyway. It's like a tech station or something. Yeah, literally a tech station. Oh well, tech stations are still nice. This is thrilling content, I know. My content is going to get better though. My new PC was supposed to arrive today, it didn't. It is in post, you know. It's just, it'll come tomorrow most likely, but regardless. I wasn't even expecting it this week, so I was really surprised when I looked at the tracking number, just thinking like, oh, okay, I wonder where it is, where it's, you know, it's being sorted somewhere or whatever. So I looked at the tracking number and you know, it was like expected on the 27th.
I believe you've lost. More power!
And we are full up on items. Okay, I guess there is an extraction point around here somewhere, but we'll just bring Portal back.
Did you want some? Sorry, no credit.
Yeah, that's not competitive at all. Yeah, that's what we want. It's just like hell, it just gives us a bunch of damage. Nothing fancy. Looks like I got a level, so let's go ahead and do that. Not really sure where to chuck this one. Whatever. I'll probably regret that later, but it is what it is. Ah, okay, that's why I was... okay, so this actually could be quite helpful. Let's see. Oh yeah. Hell yeah. Okay. That's good.
You need to...
I believe you've lost.
And so you see combustion scales very nicely with anything that adds physical damage. And that's one of the reasons why you can kind of realistically make Scarlet Witch a melee character if you want to. She doesn't have a huge amount of damage scaling for her melee attacks, aside from just like the normal, you know, from items, plus damage, strike, bonus non-physical damage from focus. Her main thing is that she can get pretty high crit chance with her unique item and your buff, Amplify Luck, which also gives a, you know, not an amazing, but a decent, just base damage enhancement. Which, as I say, it's a nice thing because it's like this is going to buff your damage. So, and then it has a chance of doubling the damage that it's already buffing. So, decent little synergy. But you can get specifically her melee strikes pretty, not consistently, but critting about half the time, which is maybe higher. I don't know. I'd have to double check the ability. But I don't think Amplify Luck gets to any higher than about 15%, and I don't think her item gives more than 30, maybe 50. The item is good otherwise, though. That's kind of one of the reasons why you sort of think, oh, maybe I go melee just to have a reason to use it, because it gives you a bunch of resistances, which is always nice, and it's a good amount. It's like, I don't know, 20% resist everything or something, which, you know, is really good. Especially on a character who's like squishy and has no damage mitigation. Baked in. Well, not no damage, she has a tiny bit of damage mitigation with her ability to evade some range attacks, and then she has a little bit of damage mitigation with her ability to bounce back melee attacks. And so she does have a tiny amount, but I mean no really meaningful mitigation. Passive resistance, not passive, but resistances are always great to have. Even if you do have damage mitigation, it's just stacking it. There's no reason to go down there. Oh wait. We have to pick A side. And you can actually farm a decent amount of EXP at these little gate things where they just like each one of them, because there's quite a few of them in this area. If you go farm them all, it's like an extra. It's potentially dangerous, but luckily.
Oh my! How did that happen?
I was going to say, luckily, our time to kill is not that bad. Not enough for them to really cost us too many resources. We're doing okay with the robots, and I was a little bit worried about the robots. And that's the kind of unique thing I suppose I haven't really shown off or anything with Scarlet Witch, where the pop-up ability actually like shrinks people. But I don't think it really has any I think it can go through combo shields or something, but and it has like a little ranged hex bolt, which is interesting, but it's not really a thing you worry about. But you see that little bolt, that thing that hits the floor, that's what shrinks them. Destroy these tanks. Down. Robots in here? No?
You'd be more trouble.
They're out of here. Do the last section. But you see how it can get kind of rough for us if we have to engage with combustion. the CCM combustion is just very, very unreliable. So what we can do is we can bounce the damage back of melee mobs. And we'll come back to him later. We're gonna do it now. I think you might miss it if you go in the thing, but either way.
Merci beaucoup. Bonne chance.
Oh, no. The boss, so I wasn't particularly worried about the info factory as Wanderer. I was expecting it to be a slog resource-wise, which it has been. But I wasn't really, thinking we were in any particular danger of losing the game here. Except at the boss. Because we are so slow that... Particularly just dealing with Storm and Iceman, there's always a little bit of luck involved, and but then otherwise it's just positioning. But the luck is that you have to position around them and what's on the map, and depending on where and how they move, just can't always isolate the fights nicely. And it only takes a second for Iceman to get a sightline on you, and then you're frozen for 2-3 seconds, and what happens is he can then kind of shuffle a little bit closer, and the moment you unfreeze he just pop shots you again, and it's pretty horrible. And if Storm gets a look at you in that same situation, what can happen is, if you have 1 second to do something during which you're not frozen, you maybe have an ability or something that you can use that will get you a second, get you a tiny little bit of space. Then Storm will bonk you and stun you, and so you're stunned, and then frozen again before the stun ends, basically. So they can definitely CC you to death like that, and it's super dangerous. I do think there is some weird timer or something with it, where it's they will only do it for a certain amount of time, and then they just kind of wander off. I don't know. But normal enemies have no problem chain CCing you to death, and they will do it.
Enjoy your nap.
That guy was just a dick. I really don't like that guy. But yeah, I can't criticize her clear time, not with this equipment anyway. She's, even just punching stuff, she takes it out at a pretty brisk pace. She is using a disgusting amount of energy to get this done, but that doesn't matter that much if you are getting it done. And this ability, if this ability were more usable, if it had a faster cast time, hate these things. Yeah, I should have used combustion on it. right off. It's not exactly like we are swimming in EP pots, however, it is also time to go buy some. So. But yeah, this is what I mean when I say like, okay, we just have to buy them. It's fine. Like, it's very tenable. You make more money than they cost.
Did you want?
It just slows down the speed at which you can save for things like this. But as you can see, we have that now. And this may actually honestly be better than that, but we'll see when we...
It's all in excellent condition.
Try both. Let's get a huge chunk of energy packs. Probably best to save this one. I don't think putting a skill point in Hex Mastery was honestly the play, but so we can kind of we can make up a little bit for having messed that up by holding on to that. As you can see though, with patience, just get through. And as I've said before about this game, you know, it's like the game is easy until it kills you. it just, that's how it works. You think everything's fine and then you die. And a big part of what makes the game easy or hard, you know, not getting killed basically, because that's your ultimate kind of win condition here, is to stay alive. As long as you're alive, you can maybe do something. Guidance goes in. But yeah, a lot of it, as I say, comes down to just patience. But the thing is, you know, when you're having a bad run and you don't, like, if I hadn't got these amazing items, you know, this would be going very slow. And we'd be going back to buy energy far more often. We wouldn't have the levels and the bonus skills and everything that we do have, because, you know, we'd have been even more broke than we have been. We'd be getting more beaten up in fights because enemies would be living longer, so we'd be using more health potions as well. It would just... I'm not saying we wouldn't have made it here, but it would have been rough. And, you know, the longer you have to do something that requires concentration and it just, you have to do it for a long time, like, you know, it's eventually the concentration slips.
Terribly sorry about that.
But we're clearing this area, like, pretty briskly. And I don't know if we're going to continue on and do the Madrai Temple tonight, which I know is going to make this a short stream, but right now I'm kind of more focused on, like, just making sure I get a stream out every night, just as a... because that was kind of like, that's why... that was like a, you know, a goal I've made for myself. It doesn't matter if no one watches it or anything. I don't even break that. It was a bit of a questionable decision to do this the slow way, but I guess we have the damage. Doesn't really matter that much. And coming into the last part of the factory, pushing on the bosses, so there's still a little bit of a hike away. It's not instant. It's not like we go straight through that doorway and are at the boss. But yeah, I kind of don't want to get burnt out on this game because it's, look, like I can stream other stuff and there is other stuff that I do want to stream. But I just know no one else is streaming this game, and I know that it's also because no one wants to watch it, but like, I don't know, it's... It feels like I can stake a claim to it. I always forget you can just break them. But honestly, it doesn't hurt to keep them around if you want to use them to stop yourself getting rushed by the melee. It's just so annoying. Like, all he has to do is move, and he's literally impossible to hit with this ability. I know someone out there might think like, oh, okay, you know, you have to lead the shot, and it's like, believe me, I would love to lead the shot, but like, auto-targeting this game is not having a bar of that. I cannot make those kind of adjustments. I can barely even shoot it in a straight line. An enemy can be standing in front of me, I can literally have my cursor on him, click on him, press the button, you know, and I'll just whiff in like 180 in the other direction. And assistance, preferably Swedish.
I believe you've lost. Enjoy your nap.
Send another squad.
Terribly happen, I believe you've lost.
Yeah, not too bad to clear this spot. And we get a nice chunk of XP from it, so...
I can feel the energy.
Always good. Level ups, also very nice. Now we need to... a little bit of platforming there. Nothing too outrageous. Oh, that was well played. Like, you see what I mean about the auto-targeting there? Like, I know I messed that up, but like, I did click on that guy and press the shoot button, and for some reason... And why am I coming back this way? I haven't been down that hole. EP's so low again. We just absolutely... huff these potions.
Enjoy your nap.
And yeah, gonna be careful here because of the whole freaking teleporting off the map thing that happened in our Nightcrawler run. And yeah, we're breaking boxes because I'm hoping to get some EP pods. It's like, I know I'm gonna have to go back to get some before the boss fight, but I would like to get there without having to go back, you know? Okay, more boxes. Let me through. Give me. You.
I'd have thought you'd be in more trouble.
No EP. We are not having the best luck. But it's fine. We're also just about scraping by with what we have.
Terribly sorry about that.
More EP? I mean, I don't mind getting tech bits because we're gonna have to pay for the potions anyway, so. But it would be nice to skip the middleman, at least a couple. Maybe one? Yeah. Alright. We'll loot these side rooms anyway, because. Real with you, I need the money. Broke. Aim imitates life. And yeah, a little bit of waste of time, I suppose, but I can't afford to go in there with 2 EP bots, and I don't want to leave this big section of the map unlooted. We actually do need the tech bits. I can't really afford to skip stuff like this. And we are going to have to go back to get EP anyway. A bit frustrated. Haven't had much luck with the drops. Since I mentioned, I suppose I activated the game's desire sensor. I feel like every game... Well, there's one. These are gracious drops. Buy a bunch of health pots and get her done. And as I say, I don't think we will be doing the Madra Temple. I got some stuff to think about and do tonight. So a slightly shorter stream is...
I guarantee all of it, 100%.
Is definitely going to be the way to go, at least for me. And luckily I have 3 extremes. I'm getting more of those. Free buff. Yeah. Oh Lord.
I'd have thought you'd be more trouble.
So because of the like RNG damage type of the ult, you know, sometimes it will break these and other times it just won't. But we're okay. It's kind of why I wanted a whole bunch of them, just to be able to spam it a couple of times and definitely get at least one. But this has been fine. And we might as well just loot in here while we're here. Extreme tokens back. Very nice.
I can't thank you, and will you have only...
The team has truly...
And now we have the Madra Temple unlocked.
I just received new hammers to reach. You're quite...
We're coming up. Pardon me. We are coming up on the hour mark, and yeah, I think I'm going to take a screenshot for tomorrow's thumbnail and save. I'm yawning. And yeah, slightly shorter stream tonight. But thank you to anyone who did tune in. Really appreciate it. I'll catch you on the flip side. Tomorrow we'll be on, hopefully on the new PC with this game running nicely. Doesn't run nicely on this one. But yeah, continuing on and doing the Madra Temple. So until then, catch you on the flip side. Thanks to anyone who did.